I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. On specific, sometimes I do it with movie reviews. I don't normally do it with television episode reviews. I'm going to show my hand.
Ooh.
I'm going to show my hand. I have two. I'm going to show you one of them. I have to keep one still has to keep some secrets from you.
Right. You got to leave something.
You got to leave something for the imagination.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to show my hand.
Right.
Not only does this episode do something so incredibly stupid that it kind of ruins this series. It's happened. It's happened. I was waiting for this seemingly great series to flub, to fumble, to make a mess, and it's come. Not only does this episode do something that is so stupid that it destroys this series for me, just wrecks it. It also single-handedly has killed the MCU. MCU's done now. It's done. One episode and one decision that they made has effectively screwed the MCU. Hello and welcome to the Movie Men podcast.
The B team?
Yeah.
And
either you're tracking with me right now and you're like, okay, I know where this is going, or you're like, you disagree entirely, in which case this will be very interesting for a different reason.
I have some inklings about where you're going.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a very downer way to start this episode.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking about it for 2 freaking weeks, so
there you go. All right, well let's dive into this.
Had to get it out. All right, The episode begins with Fury calling his wife Priscilla Vara. It's essentially a goodbye call. It's clear that Fury doesn't know if he'll come back. After the call, Akara approaches, and she's like, well, where are you? And he's like, well, I'm somewhere far enough away that, yeah, it's a goodbye. And he's ambiguous. He's not going to tell her where he is. This is he's like, I'm on this mission now, and I don't need you to come looking for me. I don't need you to know where I am. Just, I loved you type of thing.
Yeah.
After the call, Akara approaches the gates of New Skrullos, echoing the scene from episode 1. The guards open fire, but Fury wasn't even in the car. After quickly shooting them down, Fury walks into the Skrull compound, doing a little bit of old, spy espionage tricky shit. I liked that. That was fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things about this episode I'm going to praise.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. After the credits, we catch up with Rhodey, who is still pushing for nuclear strike. The Admiralty is hesitant to make such a move without verifying if the Russians are really working for the Skrulls. But Rhodey presses harder, showing the president live footage of Russian troops moving to their borders with Ukraine and Finland. Rhodey already has a speech written for the president, making one last push to launch the strike. At New Skrullos, Fury walks through the compound, which is eerily deserted. The bodies of Beto and the other Skrulls who turned on Gravik have been left where they were killed. But
so
there's
here's
no
the question.
Sign of anyone alive.
What are those 2 Skrulls at the gate doing?
Maybe they were loyal.
They're the only 2 Skrulls remaining loyal to Gravik.
Well,
presumably puts them at the gate.
Presumably, Gravik killed everyone from the inside out, and so by the time he got to the front and they heard all the devastation, they were like, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." Right? Like, I don't know. They're like, wow, we can't take this guy. So,
It's one thing that I find a little like, because I don't think he runs into another. Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't run into anybody else alive until he meets Gravik.
yeah.
So, like, where are the rest of the guards? You got 2 people at the front door, but nobody else anywhere else.
Fury doesn't have long to ponder this, as the radiation levels at the compound are already causing him trouble breathing. Fury stumbles through the compound, coughing and shaking. And so at this point, I'm thinking, okay, even if Fury, like if you are exposed to the levels of radiation necessary to cause these sort of physical symptoms, then even if Fury makes it out of here, he either needs to tap into some sort of crazy advanced shield or Skrull or whatever medical technology, or he's dead in 48 hours.
He's got the cancer.
It seems like he's got
he doesn't
some
have the cancer because he's got the radiation poisoning.
Yeah, he's got some severe radiation poisoning at this point.
Those iodine pills, they're only working so well.
They're only going to do so much. At the hospital, Rhodey gets a call from Sonya Fallsworth, who tells him to move the president immediately and that Fury's headed straight for him. Rhodey questions why they should worry about Fury, but Sonya tells him that Fury's lost his mind. Back at the compound, Fury finally makes his way down to the reactor room, where Gravik is waiting with the Super Skrull machine. Mm-hmm. Fury asks him where all the Skrulls went, and Gravik reveals that he locked them all up, preventing their escape.
Except for those 2.
Preventing their escape from the impending strike. Fury attempts to take some iodide pills to fight the steadily worsening radiation poisoning, but he drops the bottle and Gravik kicks them down the drain. Dick move, Gravik. Gravik then offers him a drink, toasting the last stand of the great Nick Fury. And he kind of like monologues a little bit here, and it's really great. Like,
it's typical villain monologue just before he gets his butt kicked.
Rhodey and his team move the president to a higher floor, sending out agents to hunt for Fury. But the hunters are in turn hunted by an unseen killer. In the reactor room, Fury's dying from exposure to radiation, and Gravik comments that without pills, the symptoms are going to accelerate. Gravik asks Fury if he had a backup plan, some Avengers on standby, or an invisible cloak and shield. That was a nice little reference.
Yeah.
He also asks Fury if he recognizes the face Gravik's been wearing. This is where things get intense and really good. Fury doesn't remember. Or no, if he's been wearing, which was the face of the first human the Skrull killed on Fury's orders. Gravik is surprised that Fury doesn't remember, but this was a formative moment for the young Skrull. That man was the first of many, and Gravik still feels the weight of all those killings, blaming Fury for using the Skrulls as his private spies. It's strong, it's powerful, but then it reminds me of The Rock, and it reminds me of Sean Connery's thing, where he's like, you celebrate the life of you by killing a few million more. Like, if Gravik's all butthurt because of killing people, then it seems weird that starting a war where millions are going to die, or presumably the extinction of the race, is his angle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like the only explanation here is that, like, he says he's done all this for Fury because Fury asked him to, because he believed in Fury and his plan, and
he was his hero. He says,
yeah. So this whole thing, I feel like, like he's talking about, like, he carries the weight of him and all that stuff, but like it's essentially like it's chipped away at the innocence of who he was, right? He's killed all these people up to this point, now including people who were following him, right? Like, whatever innocence he had left was gone long ago.
Yeah.
Right. Where he's killing somebody is not even a second thought for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only takeaway I can take from that.
Gravik's hatred for Fury is only matched by his hatred for Talos, who in Gravik's eyes turned the Skrulls from a warrior race to a band of beggars. And so Gravik wraps up his final supervillain speech by saying that he will first kill Fury and then take a flamethrower to humanity, stressing to Fury that it's all because Fury failed to keep his promise. Surprising even Gravik, Fury admits he failed. He knew early on that finding a new home for Skrulls would be impossible, and yet he kept stringing them along. The only way he could have kept his promise was by building them a home on Earth, but he didn't do it because it was easier to focus on saving lives than to change the hearts and minds of humanity, even for Nick Fury. It's so good. It's so good. Like, I really loved this scene, and I really loved the humanity that played out in it. Fury reveals what he felt when he was snapped out of existence. Relief. That he could finally stop fighting. He also says that he finally came back to Earth because he felt responsible for Gravik. And that the Secret Service agents at the hospital, as the Secret Service agents at the hospital start dropping like flies, Fury offers Gravik the Harvest, the DNA collected from every combatant in the Battle of Earth. Plus more. There's more and I'm going to get into this, but there's more in there than just that. But regardless. In exchange, he asks that Gravik take the Skrulls and leave Earth. Yeah, he basically says, like, hey, take this, become Super Skrulls, go find a planet, annihilate their race, take over, cause devastation, do your genocide thing, just leave humans alone. Just bugger off. Don't come back to Earth. Which is kind of cold, but also, like, I don't know, like, at this point, it seems, like Fury's played all his other cards, right? Like, this is...
He's literally on pretty much death's door at this point.
Yeah.
Dead man's plea.
Gravik takes the Harvest from Fury just as Rhodey is getting to the president's new room. So this is interesting, yeah, because Gravik basically replies and he's like, you know, has that radiation affected your brain? Like, he's like, you know, like, it's not gonna happen, pal. But you're weak and dying, so I'm gonna take the Harvest from you anyways, because you can't stop me. The president takes a gun from one of his agents, and elsewhere, the order to initiate the strike on New Skrullos is given. I loved this moment, because so often in these situations where the Secret Service is protecting the president just always seems weak and useless. Mm-hmm. So the fact that the president was like, give me your gun, damn it. Like, was just, I don't know. That was cool. Fury lies on the floor of the Super Skrull machine, his symptoms getting progressively worse as Gravik checks the samples, commenting that Fury really does want to die. Sonya surprises Rhodey as Gravik activates the machine with Fury still in it. Sonya holds Rhodey at gunpoint, while the reactor room from the machine powers down, revealing Gravik in his natural Skrull form, practically sizzling with power. He's big. He's a big-looking guy. He's, like, jacked. Gravik attacks Fury, who then... So explain this part to me. Was his... Like, he activated the machine with Fury in it. Presumably, Gravik would have thought, I'm giving all the powers to Fury. Is that because he wanted, like, a fair fight? Like, he thought it would be lame just to...
No, I don't think Fury's human. He's a Skrull. The machine's
only going to work on
give
Skrulls.
It's only going to work on Skrulls. It's either going to kill Fury or nothing will happen to him and he'll die.
Or nothing will happen. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Gravik attacks Fury, who then reveals the ace up his sleeve, with his arm changing into that of the Hulk. Fury sends Gravik flying out of the building, stepping out of the rubble. Gaia reveals herself, having tricked Gravik into giving her the same powers he had stolen. So that whole time, the whole like, and that's the thing. This is the weird part about this. Is like I understand Fury. I understand Gaia faking the radiation symptoms in the room with Gravik, but she's like stumbling through empty hallways, coughing.
Yeah, but she would know that there are cameras that he's probably watching, and she's got to put a show on.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Head stolen. Just so we're clear, this now makes Gaia the single most powerful hero in the MCU so far, with the combined abilities of. And this is a good spot for me to talk about this. This is good. This is a good moment for me to talk about this.
Well, hang on. Let's just.
I'm going to list. I have a list.
Has happened. Can we backstep first to the whole?
Sure.
Like, there's everything that we heard Fury say to Gravik. That's easy.
Bullshit.
Is it bullshit? And it's just
Gaia saying
improvising stuff to tell Gravik what he wants to know, or did Fury let her kind of mind meld him, so that she could have that information and really sell it?
Yeah, I like that better.
Like, did Gaia like really like? I like watching a YouTube channel that kind of dives into this stuff, and they proposed that she was just making all this up and none of that meant anything to Fury. I propose that she did not make any of it up, that she actually did mind meld with Fury so that she could personify him to a T. And I propose that everything she said is how Fury felt.
Right. Yeah. I like that better.
Yeah. And I think it's like before the reveal, I thought it was a pretty good reveal. I can't say I seen it coming 100%, but I did kind of like the thought crossed my mind about maybe this is a Skrull. Fury's a Skrull.
Right.
Maybe it's Gaia or his wife or something.
Yeah.
But it was a convincing enough thing that I never gave it a lot of credence.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, like, I think that like everything that was said as Fury, Gaia said as Fury, like, it seems logical that that's how he would feel and how he would act and what he would do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I like that. I like that theory.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to team this with you a little here.
Okay.
So I have a list of the characters with which Gaia now has the power of. And so I'm going to say the name of the character, and then you reveal to the listener what that power entails, essentially what they can now do, what that adds to Gaia's skill set. Okay? And for the record, this is what makes, and we'll drive this home at the end, but this is what's killed the MCU. Because once we reveal this list, it will be very apparent that nobody's a match for Gaia. Nobody who's been revealed to us. Like, maybe a Celestial can take down Gaia now. I don't know. But nobody else is a match for Gaia. So she's the most so either she's evil and no one can kill her, or she's going to be good, in which case there's never a need to ever send anyone else. Just have Gaia go take care of it. So stupid. They turned her into a god. And not like a god like Thor, but like a god. Like,
yeah,
she's immortal now. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the list. So I'll say the name, you say the power set. Capiche?
I will do my best.
Okay. I'll fill in the blanks for, blah, blah, blah. So we have Ghost. She has the powers of Ghost.
So Ghost is kind of a phasing in and out of reality. She's a Ant-Man villain from the second Ant-Man film.
Yeah, it's pretty handy. Pretty handy being able to just phase and like, oh, is someone's throwing a punch? I'll just phase so that your punch goes through me. Captain America.
Superhuman.
Super strength, right? Super strong, super like agility and endurance.
If she also gains intellectual powers, there is some intellectual advantages that Steve Rogers gained with the super serum as well. So,
Corvus Glaive.
Corvus Glaive is a weird one. He was one of Thanos' henchmen. He had some kind, I don't know him well, but he's got some kind of weird attachment to his glaive where he can't die if his glaive is.
He's got like regenerative healing factor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanos.
Big bad dude, super smart, super strong.
Super smart, super strong, like known as the Titan. Like,
Like can kick the Hulk's ass without any stones.
Yeah. The Outriders.
The Outriders were just minions that we saw in the first Infinity War movie.
Yeah, so they're just like ruthless, kind of
mindless dogs,
but still strong and animalistic and whatever. Proxima Midnight.
I can't remember what Proxima Midnight's powers are. She's an exceptionally skilled fighter.
Yeah, speed, human strength, agility.
Yeah. Corvus Glaive's romantic interest.
Just super
that has
advanced.
something to do with her powers, but
super advanced. I'm going to skip this one and come back to it. Abomination.
The Hulk's powers, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. But like bigger and stronger than the Hulk. Right? Like more aggressive.
It depends on how angry the Hulk is, but
sure.
Yeah.
Mantis.
Oh, can telepathic and empathic abilities.
Yeah, can like get in and like go sleep, which I don't know how Gaia knew. It's just like she has Mantis's abilities now, but now she also like knows the commands and knows how to use everything. She's like sleep. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's like that with all of them though.
Yeah. Call Obsidian, which is again just strength and durability and
he's essentially a Hulk.
Yeah. Drax.
Yeah. Drax, strength, and vulnerability.
Yep. Korg.
Fighting skill. Korg's a
fighting
rock.
Skill, rock skin.
What? No, he is a rock. The rock, they don't bleed.
Yeah, he's a rock.
Which this again brings up the question of like,
I know.
What did they collect?
I know.
Right? Because we talked last episode about if they're dusted, how do they collect? Is there anything left to collect?
Yeah.
Like, how do you collect Call Obsidian's dusted body or his blood?
Here's a big one.
Korg is a rock. We've seen one of Korg's species literally get obliterated in a Thor film. I think it was the first or second Thor film. Thor uppercuts one of Korg's species with Mjolnir, and he literally just like crumbles into a pile of rocks. So how do you get Korg's DNA?
I don't know. Here's a big one. Ebony Maw.
Ebony Maw, telekinetic abilities. Yeah,
can levitate, move things with its mind.
Pretty much anything. Yeah.
The Frost Beasts.
I looked this one up in anticipation because I knew this one was one of them. It's like a big beast from Loki's the Frost Giant's homeworld
from Jotunheim.
Yeah.
Hulk.
Hulk's the Hulk. Everybody knows Hulk.
But resistance to gamma radiation.
Yeah.
And super strong. Gets stronger with anger and rage.
Yeah.
Chitauri. She has Chitauri DNA now. Which is, they're just strong and nasty and gross.
Yeah.
She has Valkyrie DNA.
Did it say Valkyrie on that list?
She has Valkyrie DNA.
Really? I didn't see that.
So Asgardian and strong and powerful. But if that's not good enough for you, she has Thor's DNA. Right. She's the powers of Thor now.
The God of Thunder.
Yeah. can presumably maybe summon lightning.
Yeah.
Gamora. She has Gamora's DNA.
Pretty much the same as Drax.
Pretty much. She has Groot's DNA.
We've seen that. Yeah.
She has the Winter Soldier DNA, which is basically just the same as Captain America.
Yeah.
And then the big one. The one that I skipped, the one that makes the rest of the MCU just... Like, if that wasn't enough for you up until this point, she has the powers of Captain Marvel.
You missed one. Black Panther.
And Black Panther. I did miss one. So...
And presumably many more.
Yeah.
But yeah, got Captain Marvel.
So...
The big one. The one that they really focus in on.
I mean... What the hell?
Yeah.
What the actual hell? Like, it's done now. It is done, because the question will never now not be, why not just send Gaia? Or if it turns out that Gaia is no good and is a baddie, then we're boned.
Yeah. And see, I think this is if you compare it to the source material, which we've often talked about, like, you can take that liberties can and sometimes should be taken when you're taking comic book source material and bringing it to a TV show. I think the source material does this better because the Super Skrull, the being known as the Super Skrull in the comics, only has the powers of 4 beings, and that's the Fantastic Four.
The Fantastic Four, which obviously they couldn't do in this because it wouldn't make any sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Fantastic Four have been introduced at all, so you can't.
But you could have selected properly. A smaller group. You could have said Black Panther and
the Harvest. Instead of making the Harvest a big thing, you could have made it some other that Gravik on his own tried to gather.
Yeah.
Samples.
Or they did the Harvest and all they were able to come up with was Black Panther, Groot, and Captain America.
A handful.
And those 3 would still be problematic.
Yeah. So only one Skrull has multiple powers. In the Secret Invasion storyline, the Skrulls are able to mimic the powers of whoever they've changed into to a certain degree.
Right, which is why they didn't want to send the Avengers in.
Yeah, in this story, yeah. But even still, with this machine, like, you just Gravik. If Gravik was really smart, he doesn't once he gets this serum, he doesn't need the USA to fight Russia.
No, he's unstoppable.
You just put all your Skrull buddies in the machine and give them all the superpowers.
Wow,
right?
But then you're not the most powerful anymore. Then your leadership's called into question.
But you don't need to, like, you don't need to do all this weird manipulation. You can even you don't have to give them. Okay, he could be the only one with everything. And then he just handpicks people to give a couple to, and somebody like Captain America who can't fly, you give him Cull Obsidian's powers or
Ebony
Maw's powers too, right? Like, you counterbalance the weakness by giving them another superpower.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it also makes Gravik's plan pretty short-sighted.
Because all Gravik ultimately needs to do, like, even if he didn't give anyone else any powers, you have Captain Marvel's powers. Captain Marvel could go into the center of any metropolitan area and just do her Captain Marvel energy blast in a 360 circle a couple of times, and you're killing millions.
Yeah, so Captain Marvel is powerful, but her powers do have limitations. Like, she can drain her powers At least in the comic books. I would assume she has she's got to have limitations in the MCU as well. But like, he can't do it all himself, which is why he's got to have this grand plan to begin with about nuking Russia.
Yeah.
But you don't need to nuke Russia if you've got this vial that has every superhero and villain known to Earth at this time.
Yeah. Either way, the MCU is boned. It's screwed. It's screwed now. It's completely done.
Weird. It's messed up. It's definitely messed up.
Meanwhile,
put itself in a pickle.
Meanwhile, the real Fury is indeed at the hospital, where he takes out the last of the Secret Service agents and tells the president to aim his gun at Rhodey. Gaia confronts Gravik, calling him flailing and weak, and attacks him. What follows is the epic action sequence we've been waiting for a while. And I agree. It's a sick fight. It looks great. It's a lot of fun.
It's pretty cool. There is the, like, after she reveals she's Gaia, she turns it back into the human Gaia, and then she transforms her arm into I think it's the Drax arm.
Yeah.
The CGI looks just weird. Like, that arm is so huge on her.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks strange.
Like, part of me's like, yeah, I guess that's what it would look like. But it's like, what's the term that they use for when they CGI an actor's face?
Oh, the uncanny valley?
The uncanny, yeah, it's almost like they said, screw the uncanny valley. Let's just throw a CGI Drax arm on this tiny lady
and run with it.
Forget what it looks like, because she's a shape-shifting alien and that's what it would look like.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically.
So like, there's the suspension of disbelief is it took me a minute to get there.
Yeah.
Like, I can do it. I can be like, what? That looks really weird.
Yeah.
I've got to suspend my disbelief on this. But she is shape-shifting alien. She's just shape-shifting the one arm. Okay. Yeah. I buy it. It's just a weird moment.
Back at the hospital, Fury explains the situation to the president, telling him that Rhodey has been replaced by a Skrull and that the real Rhodey is at the very compound the U.S. is about to bomb, along with dozens of world officials. This was a cool scene. It was tense. It was tense. Trying to convince the president that, that Nick Fury wasn't full of shit. Rhodey tries to convince the president to stay the course, with the bomb already being prepared. Fury tries to convince the president otherwise, and the Gaia versus Gravik fight kicks up a notch, with both of them using Captain Marvel's powers to take to the sky. Gravik almost beats Gaia, but she uses the powers of Mantis to knock him out. Sonya and Fury tell the president all he has to do is delay the strike, and it really looks like they may be getting through. Gravik continues to fire at Gaia, with both of them finally colliding in an epic, anime-esque action sequence. That ends with Gaia firing a massive blast through Gravik's torso, presumably killing him. I don't know if it's presumably. He seems pretty dead. But he's got those regenerative healing powers. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've seen in Iron Man 3 that they can't regenerate everything. So
no. Rhodey tries to make a move and ends up getting shot in the head by Fury, wrapping up that thread as well. The president realizes the truth when Rhodey turns back into her Skrull form at death. Calling off the strike, Gaia frees the prisoners. Among them, the real Rhodey and Everett Ross, played by Martin Freeman, it's revealed that Rhodey was replaced very early on with his body in terrible condition. Gaia then leads them all to safety. Yeah, that's something that we still don't. We were kind of speculating on.
Yeah. So the breakdown video I watched made some really good observations here. The first observation is that he's obviously got no use of his legs. So this happens. He gets abducted post Civil War.
Yeah.
The second observation is he's in a dressing gown, a hospital dressing gown.
Right.
When would he have been in a hospital dressing gown between losing the use of his legs and this point in time?
I mean, maybe following Endgame.
Was he injured in Endgame?
I think everyone was a little. I assume everyone went and got checked out.
Like hospital gown worthy? I don't know.
Probably immediately following Civil War is the other big.
That's what they were speculating. And they were speculating that because when he starts to kind of get out of this chamber thing that they put them in, he almost kind of is leaning forward like he's trying to use his legs. Like doesn't realize he can't walk. So they speculated that this is very close to Endgame, that he was abducted.
Or Civil War, you mean?
Civil War, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So he's been in that chamber a lot. Like, he's got no idea what's happened. Like, anything Thanos related, he's oblivious to, potentially.
Unless he was dusted.
That's interesting.
Because as far as we know, he wasn't. But if that wasn't him, then he was playing good. He was playing good guy as a Skrull for those 5 years, I guess, as a sleeper agent, right? Just waiting for Gravik.
Because he wasn't dusted, but Skrull wasn't dusted. But you raise an interesting point here. They have a lot of people abducted.
Yeah.
Skrull Rhodey wasn't dusted, but what if Rhodey and anybody else they've captured up to this point were? Yeah. All of a sudden, they're not in the cage.
Yeah, it's weird.
What happens when they come back? Where do they end up? It's just like It kind of like, do they end up back in the cage? What if the cage is moved? They can't end up back in the cage if the cage is moved.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know.
What if somebody else is in the cage?
Sometime later, President Ritson addresses the nation, confirming that the Skrulls were responsible for the attempt on his life. Ritson declares war against all aliens, setting up a dark future to come in the MCU. Yeah, because I think a lot of people looked at that and they're like, oh, okay, so a bunch of people are just going to go kill all the Skrulls. And I'm like, there's a lot, like Captain Marvel's an alien. Thor's
Captain Marvel's not an alien. She's a human that's been hit with radiation from a stone.
So, okay. Thor's an alien.
Thor's an alien, technically.
No, not technically. He's an alien.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot.
The Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Like there were a lot. There were. Yeah, I see what you're saying. There were a lot of aliens who fought for the side of good in the battle for Earth, in which this show is dubbed that final Endgame battle. That
are now combative enemies,
according to the U.S.
Yeah, but I mean,
the U.S. doesn't speak for the rest of the world.
No.
On U.S. soil, you are an enemy.
Yeah, but that's still a real issue for Avengers, right? That are mostly U.S. based. Yeah. Fury meets Priscilla in their home, which was trashed when the Skrull rebels attacked. Priscilla and Gaia, when it attacked Priscilla and Gaia there.
Yeah.
Priscilla asks Fury if he really fell in love with her or with the face she wore. And Fury says he loves her, asking for one last chance. He then tells her that he's going back to Saber that very night. She says, so I guess this is goodbye. He says, if you can find a way to forgive me, he says as he's leaving, then you'll know where to find me. Sonya and Gaia meet, with Sonya proposing an alliance. You don't want to not be on Gaia's side at this point.
Yeah.
Offering the Skrulls the resources they need to fight against Ritzen's war. Gaia is skeptical, as it sounds a lot like Fury and Talos' old arrangement. Sonya wins her over by promising that it will be all business between them. She basically says, I'll use you and you'll use me, and we'll get this done.
Essentially, she's saying Fury wasn't truthful in the end. I'm going to be straight up with you. I'm going to use you. You're going to do work for me.
Yeah.
But I'll work. You're going to use me too.
Yeah. Telling him off for Fury drives back out to the spot where he first landed in episode 1 and calls the president, telling him off for making a bad situation worse. Sonya takes Gaia to a secret location where a vast number of humans have been kept prisoner, hooked up to more pods like the ones at New Skrullos. Gaia is shocked as she realizes just how deep the Skrull rebellion actually goes and the monumental task before her. We see cutaway shots here of how the world is responding to this, or how America is responding to this.
Yeah.
Right? We're seeing rebels, American gun-toting, whatever you want to call them, self-appointed mercenaries that are randomly figuring out who Skrulls are and killing them.
Essentially a mob. It's become a mob mentality.
Yeah. Figuring out
Justice.
People who they think are Skrulls, killing them only to discover that they're not Skrulls. And people figuring out who Skrulls are, going to kill them, and then getting killed themselves because the Skrull kicks their ass.
Yeah. And this is definitely not just a U.S. thing, because one of the people who was almost killed is one of the Skrull leaders, and she's not a U.S. diplomat.
No. So it's causing anarchy.
Yeah. We're glossing over the Gaia, the revelation to Gaia here of the depth of the Skrull insurgency, we'll call it, I guess. I don't know. Okay. The rebellion. And that warehouse just being full of people who are sedated using Skrull technology or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, there's probably close to, like, you can't see the back of the room. I'm looking at a screenshot of it. You can't see the back of the room. There's got to be at least several hundred people in there.
Oh, I'd say
more.
I'd say close to 1,000 maybe.
But like, they didn't know. She didn't know about. She was one of Gravik's.
She was a
inner
lieutenant.
circle. Yeah, inner circle, and she didn't know about this.
Yeah,
there could be several other places just like this around the globe.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes me a little bit hopeful for the MCU and this invasion storyline, because this is kind of where it should have started. Like, this feels Skrull invasion. Like, this is leading to like a cinematic multi-movie storyline.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's going to go there. I think I don't know what they're going to do now.
Well, and that's the big question.
With the Jonathan Majors thing, nobody knows what's going on.
That's the big question, right? Because the end of this series has presumably set up and given us
a new big bad.
And a real sense of direction in terms of what do things look like inside the MCU, right? Like this feels like, it feels not like the same as the end of Infinity War, but that same sort of vibe where it's like this hasn't been a show without consequences moving forward.
Yeah.
There's serious consequences moving forward. However,
It's not like Ant-Man.
Ant-Man 3. The big question, though, will be, are they going to do good by this, and will this actually change the course of the MCU, or is it going to be how, at least up until this point, the massive celestial coming out of the earth has done nothing and means nothing?
Yeah.
And like all these little things that have been set up, and not only have they not paid off, there's been zero mention of them.
Exactly. And this is one of the things I think this show's done really well, is that it's dealing with post-blip consequences.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't deal with a lot of snap, like coming back snap stuff, but it's dealing with the war for Earth. It's dealing with the Skrulls, and like it's kind of dealing with that other stuff and wrapping some of that up a little bit, as well as kind of pushing a potential new major threat. Mm-hmm. It almost feels like this should have been the first thing out post Endgame.
Yeah, and then used that to really, because it's not, and then used this to really shape the most recent phase, right?
Yeah.
And strangely, like, or not so strangely, it's not even like it's a digestible sized threat. Right? Like, it's something that we could look at and we go, okay, this makes sense to us, and we understand
the graphic part of it is.
Well, or just like the war between humans and aliens, right? Versus this, well, it's the multiverse, and it's the Celestials, and it's right. Kang, and who knows what the hell, and nobody, and the rings are sending a signal to somewhere, but we don't know who's receiving that signal, and who, like, there's just so much, and it's like, and it can't all be explained in one movie.
At this point, because it's come where it's come in the kind of the timeline of the movies and TV shows being released, it's just one more loose end on the pile.
Yeah.
Of where's the MCU go? Where's the MCU going?
Yeah.
Right. Like, because you just listed off all those loose end, big bad problems that the Marvel Universe has got to deal with, and they all seem like they're the new Thanos threat.
Completely none unrelated
of them are doing
to each
anything
other.
Nobody's doing anything with them. None of them are kind of pointing in the same direction. Everybody's kind of from Endgame. Everybody's kind of branched out into their own storyline, and nobody's working together.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn it.
Anyway.
Stupid MCU.
Yeah.
Fury tells Ritson that they have to act now to reverse the damage he's done, but the president refuses, telling Fury that if he wants to save the Skrulls, then to get them off the planet. So that's great. Fury is clearly disappointed as he prepares to leave. Just then, a car pulls up, driven by Priscilla. She tells Fury that now that the humans know about the Skrulls, she wants to use her birth name, asking him to call her Vara. Fury tells Vara that he has some good news. The Kree are open to peace talks with the Skrulls. Vara is understandably cynical, but Fury tells her it's a good thing and asks her for help as a diplomat. He asks her to go with him, and she says she'll help him get started, but she'll have to come back. Vara then takes her natural form and tells Fury she loves him as she is. Fury responds by saying, "Only as you are," kissing her in her Skrull form and making it clear that he loves her no matter what face she wears. Together they leave Earth for Saber and hopefully more adventures to come. And that's it. That's the episode that killed the MCU.
Well, I don't know if I'd say it killed it, but it's definitely another pile of dirt on the grave.
It's what took me from, because for a long time, like, people have been giving up forever on the MCU. They're like, no, that's it. I'm tapping out. I'm done. And I'm not tapping out. I'm not done. But part of me wishes I had the sack to do so. Like, this is the first time where I've wanted to.
You want to vote with your wallet now.
Kind of. And I'm still going to go. And I'm still going to see, like, the Marvels are coming out in no time. And I'm jazzed.
Yep.
But I just, like, it's the first time where I've really been like, okay, now, like, I know it's been a mess. And I've until this point, I've consistently said, yeah, I think they're going to surprise us. I think this is all, like, just be patient. It's all going to make sense. We're all building towards something, and it's going to be good. And just because we don't know, just because we don't know the big picture doesn't mean it's not there. And they're just giving it to us in small pieces, and it's all going to connect. Yeah. And this is the first time where I'm like, man, I will be shocked if they pull this together now.
If you could talk to yourself at the end of, let's say, Age of Ultron.
Okay.
Right. And you asked yourself, you got to ask yourself the question, does where the MCU is going make sense? Does everything look like it's going in one direction? You back then would go, oh yeah, of course it does. It's all leading to Thanos. It's all about the Infinity Stones.
Right.
There's one cohesive storyline connecting all these other individual stories. Right? The Infinity Stones are scattered throughout all these stories in one way or another. Right? Like, you watch the first Doctor Strange, and, like, that's a time stone. Who would have thought? Like, it could have been anything else. They didn't even need to put a time stone in there. But the time stone works perfectly woven into that story.
Yep.
Right? They all, it's completely independent from the Infinity stories, with the exception that the time stone is part of the Eye of Agamotto.
Yep. Yep.
You can't say any of that with what we've been getting. What ties this to anything else we've gotten? Aside from the fact that it's pulling its story from the same universe.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that they're quote unquote in the same universe, there's nothing else connecting them.
No. I will say,
in fact, because such big threats have come up, like a freaking giant robotic galactic being half born from the Earth's ocean, like, we've never seen that happened so long ago at this point.
Yeah.
And nobody said hide nor hair or boo about this thing. Why?
Okay, what I'll say, and this is just me playing devil's advocate here. It's not necessarily a defense. Yeah. So looking at the release order of the MCU, the first Infinity Stone didn't appear until Guardians of the Galaxy. It's the first time we saw an Infinity Stone, right? First mention.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We were 10 films into the MCU before we saw an Infinity Stone. And even then, it wasn't super clear, like, hey, this is an Infinity Stone. But it wasn't for like another film or two before the post-credit scenes were kind of hinting in that direction of like, this is what the plan is. This is what's happening.
That being said, there was still like a tying together of the films. You had you had Samuel Jackson at the end
I know.
talking about bringing a group of remarkable individuals together.
So,
right? There were still some connective tissue.
But bear with me. So let's say 10 films. 10 films before.
And you're wrong. The first Infinity Stone came in Avengers, did it not? Because Loki.
But it's not revealed to us that there's an Infinity Stone inside the Tesseract or that there's one inside of. Right. But as an audience, we didn't know that or have a sense of, well, this is moving towards Infinity Stones.
The point I'm stating. Well,
I know, but I'm halfway through my point.
Captain America was Captain America or would have been Thor?
Thor: The Dark World had the Ether, which had an Infinity Stone in it, but we didn't know that either. So as an audience,
I'm thinking the first Thor. The first Thor,
no, doesn't have an Infinity Stone.
The Captain America would have had the first.
Has the Tesseract.
Stone,
yeah, but we have no idea.
Well, I agree with you. We as an audience at the time didn't know that was an Infinity Stone.
But that's what we're talking about.
But Kevin Feige sure as heck did.
Right. So, right. So, but under the assumption that Kevin Feige has a coherent plan now. So let's just say, right, we are 10, at that point, we were 10 movies in before we saw, not hidden inside of some other object, not whatever, the first time we heard someone say the word Infinity Stone and explain that there were these 6 stones, right, that existed. So since Endgame, and there's a couple of properties that I feel like you need to exclude from this count here. Things like Black Widow. Yeah, sure, Black Widow came out post Endgame, but Black Widow was never meant to, like, it was set chronologically before. So it's not supposed to give us a theory on what's coming next, right? You can forgive that from being a part of that. I would say also you could probably ignore What If, because What If was just like, they could have set something up in What If, but that was just its own separate thing. So post Endgame, we actually have in the post Endgame story, we have 1, 2, 3, 4,
well, don't count them. Let's go through them. You've got Spider-Man came out first.
Okay, let's go chronologically, because chronologically is what matters here, right? So you have Spider-Man Far From Home. Is the next thing happening. Are you talking
chronologically in terms of release date, or
no? Chronologically in terms of like timeline. Okay. So Spider-Man Far From Home. Nothing really gets set up in that for us, except for the fact that Spider-Man's his true identity's been revealed. That's the setup.
And there's a multiverse.
That there might be. No, because it turns out that Quentin Beck is not from the multiverse. That was all bullshit.
That's right.
And that wasn't even Nick Fury.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't until the next Spider-Man that we
then chronologically, the next up is Spider-Man No Way Home. That sets up the fact that there's a multiverse and that they've maybe done some damage and in yada yada, and that Spider-Man is now actually Spider-Man. That's kind of, So there's 2 there. Loki is the next chronologically. That sets up a lot, presumably. Sets up the stuff with the TVA, with the man at the end of time, with multiverses, with all of this stuff, right? And that
with Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah. What If I'm skipping, because What If they could have tried to set something up, but also it's forgivable that they didn't.
WandaVision. Just multiverse stuff.
Yeah. WandaVision. WandaVision doesn't really set anything up in terms of like the MCU as a greater whole, aside from, now there's a white Vision, right? So there is a Vision out there somewhere. It's the white Vision. I'm okay. Like,
new hero.
Yeah. New hero.
It does set up the fact that we know that Wanda is the Scarlet Witch and that's a multiverse style kind of character somehow. Wanda probably had some powers baked into her prior to, like, that the Soul Stone probably just intensified them and unlocked them and stuff. But then there's the Darkhold as well.
Yeah, so that's 3 projects where that mattered. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, all right, has set up that there's a new Captain America, and that's kind of it.
No, that starts setting up that there's some stuff in the U.S. Secret Service government stuff that are looking to build some kind of team, because at the very end, our U.S. agent gets named.
Right. So that, you're talking the whatever they're called, the
whatever
Marvel's Suicide Squad. Whatever they are. So that's 4. Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings. So that sets up. I mean, I guess just that there's these rings and that there's some sort of signal going somewhere.
Yeah, I've heard theories that people think the rings were calling to Kang, but that's unconfirmed.
Sure. So that's 5. 6 would be Eternals. It sets up a lot. It sets up the idea of Celestials.
Yeah, and now there's a Celestial sticking out of the earth.
Yeah. 7 would be Hawkeye, which is basically just the swan song for Clint and introducing Kate Bishop as probably the new Hawkeye.
And it does reintroduce Kingpin. Yeah, that's not really a global threat.
No,
that's more street level stuff.
Yep,
in terms of superheroism.
Then we have Moon Knight.
That sets up some pretty big questioning things that haven't got answered.
That haven't gotten answered.
Moon Knight.
That haven't been answered, but aren't necessarily global things, right? Like that could still be a larger self-contained story.
Two big Egyptian gods that are bigger than the pyramids are fighting in the middle of the night and causing commotion.
It questions why no one has mentioned it yet.
Yeah, nobody's talking about these things. And then on top of that, like there's the whole afterlife questions that it raises, and it does set up, it does leave a lot of questions that nobody talks about. And I guess we could go into that a little bit with stuff pre-Endgame, with like how come nobody was talking about Extremis after Iron Man 3. But at the same time, that's not a big giant celestial sticking out of the ocean. Right?
No,
that's not a real big global thing. That was, that's not on the same level by any stretch. I can't.
No.
Then
we have Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
So we get Aquaman.
Yeah. So it's but whatever. It doesn't like it doesn't. It was just a self-contained story that deals with like the progression of what's going on in Wakanda.
Yeah, and now we have Namor and the Atlanteans. They're not Atlanteans. What did they call them?
It was a different city that they named it. I can't remember.
Why didn't they call them Atlanteans? Is there some kind of copyright thing?
There might
Atlantis?
be. I think in film, I think there might be. No, I think I remember hearing in film, DC owns the. In the cinematic world, anyways, I think so. Then She-Hulk Attorney at Law. So that's 10. That's 10.
I mean, if you take that movie or that show like for like literally, which is pretty hard to, that does set up a lot. Like a cat. What was that robot's name? Was the robot named Kevin?
I don't know, but it sets stuff up, but not like
it's very
Infinity Stone stuff. Not Infinity Stone level.
Well, the fact that She-Hulk can jump into our world and talk to the script writers, and like it's pretty tongue in cheek. So it's not. You can't take it too literally for the show. You know what I mean? Like
then we have Miss Marvel.
Yeah. Anyway, that sets up some more multiverse stuff. Would you call the world where what did they call them? The Jinn were from a different universe, a multiverse?
No, because it was like a different dimension. Right? It was our world, but a different plane.
Right. Okay.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
That's kind of a big thing.
Yeah, but again, not like a global threat.
Yeah, I would say it's probably not global and huge. It's not on the same level as Celestial sticking out of the earth.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Right. That's not even in our on Earth. So, yes, it is. It is. Part of it is
in parts. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, sets up like we now have our Doctor Strange is not quite the same Doctor Strange that we're familiar
Potentially
with.
Might be a different one, but it more importantly, it sets up the collision of universes.
Yeah.
What did they call it again?
The incursion.
Incursions, yes.
Yeah.
Which is like comic book for anybody who reads the comic books. That's a big key word, an incursion.
Oh yeah.
So that would be, even though nobody else knows about it except for Doctor Strange, that's a big thing.
Werewolf by Night, which I'm excluding because this is just its own one-shot standalone special event. Same with the holiday special.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I mean, it sets up a new team of Guardians, but it doesn't try to further the plot of the MCU.
No, it definitely just wraps things up, and it leaves like the unanswered questions it's leaving are in terms of like what happens to the characters next, which should be a fine question for any film to leave.
Sure. Yep. And Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which sets up a bunch of stuff for sure,
but also kneecaps itself.
And then now Secret Invasion, and so that's that's 15 projects. So this is how I'm looking at it. That's 15 projects, and we don't have a clear sense. However, things have been set up more so, even though we don't know how it's all intertwines and what's going to happen, things have been set up a little bit more so than they were at this point in like the fact that we kind of have stuff already getting set up in a big way by Eternals. That's a lot faster than it happened in the first MCU saga. Also, there's a lot more projects that are coming out now. And so I think what's happening is it was 6 years after the MCU started before we heard the word Infinity Stone. Okay? Endgame was in 2019, which means it's only been 4 years. It's only been 4 years since we've been post Endgame, and we have almost as many projects as we did in the Infinity Saga, if you count the TV shows. And so they're just, I think because we get projects so much faster, we're like, well, why don't we know yet? Why don't we know yet? Why don't we know yet? And it's like, well, because it's only been 4 years. And there's been a lot of TV shows and stuff, but most of those are just kind of their own little kind of thing. And there hasn't been that many movies yet.
Right. But we still have a lot of really kind of big storyline plot points in this short amount of time that the other one that early in the MCU, they didn't.
Sure. But I think some of those we're looking at too many of
incursions, the Secret Invasion, which is still obviously a thing, the multiverse, Kang, like there's a lot of, well, the multiverse is kind of incursion-y, but it feels like they've set them up separately.
I think a lot of them will be dealt with within their own, like, I truly believe that a lot of the stuff that was set up at the end of Multiverse of Madness probably won't be dealt with again until Doctor Strange 3. I think that might just be its own, contained to its own franchise.
Will just be a Doctor Strange thing.
Yeah, because nobody else has to worry about this, worlds colliding thing. That's a Mystic Arts issue. It always has been.
Not really.
No,
I don't think so.
There's stuff that the sorcerers have dealt with without people knowing about. That's how
they choose to deal with it. Even if that's how they choose to deal with the incursions, I feel like that is a huge misstep.
Well,
because you're and this, I said this just recently, the MCU can take liberties with the source material. But there is a lot of source material to drive your films, your solo films, your Doctor Stranges, your Thors, your Black Panthers, right? There's a lot of source material that is just Doctor Strange comics, right? There's lots of storylines in there that span several comic books. There are fewer storylines that span multiple comic books. Avengers, when I say multiple comic books, I mean like Avengers, X-Men, like the entire universe, comic book universe spanning storylines, like Infinity War, like the Incursions and Secret Wars. Like, it just feels like a misstep to take the things that the comic books storylines, the comic books used across multiple different hero comic books, different you know what I mean? To boil them down into a solo film.
Well, otherwise you'd never get to them all because
That's fine.
Well, but they're fun ideas that they'd like to explore. Anyways, we gotta wrap this up.
I think it's a misstep.
Is the final episode of Secret Invasion a win or a fail for you?
It's a meh, I think, in the end.
Yeah. And so I agree. It was a fail.
The fight scene was cool. Gaia having the same powers as like all these powers kind of like you were saying, kind of makes it feel a little odd.
Yeah. And a question that you're not going to be prepared to answer, but we do it every time, so you should have been prepared, is now that the series is over, on a scale of 0 to 10, how would you rank Secret Invasion?
I think I give it 6.5.
Okay.
6. I give it a 6. I'll give
6?
it around 6.
Yeah. That's not far off. I gave it a 7.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for what it is. It doesn't... I think it does a better job of dealing with post-end game storylines than a lot of the other storylines have that we've gotten.
Yep.
But I don't know. It just kind of fell flat in the end, I think, and left like we dealt with the Gravik problem, but the problem that Gravik created still persists. So what did we really solve?
Right. Yeah.
Like it didn't really, like the problem still exists. Somebody's just going to take Gravik's place in that Skrull leadership. Because there's obviously a lot more Skrulls out there that are taken key positions in leadership around the world.
For sure. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twister. Our Twister. Ooh, it's not even Twitter anymore. Check out our X. Check out our X. Listed below. Should probably update that in the show notes. X. So dumb. But you still tweet on X, right?
How do you tweet in X?
I don't know. Wow, you should. You should never tweet an X. Just that's the recipe for disaster. Never tweet an X. Check out our Patreon page. You can support the show for as little as $1 a month, or up to $10 a month if you're feeling extra. You're just loaded. You just got all the money. You want to toss it around. But at different levels, you get different kickbacks and fun stuff like that. And we have a merch store.
Yes, we do. It's got stuff in it.
Do you consistently take a drink of water when I tee you up to say something about merch?
No.
It's like every single time.
I'm legitimately like 90% just not prepared. Because you leave that pause and then I'm like, oh yeah, I have to say something.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you just screamed merch after I say merch, like it's, if I'm like, hey, we've got merch. Yeah. So check out all those things and join us next week when we're not only back with more news, but we will be starting down our Ahsoka journey or Rebels season 3, depending on how you want to look at it. So
fun fact: neither of us have actually started watching it at this point.
No, because I wanted to get Secret Invasion done. So now I'm gonna go watch it tonight.
Well, and I was not home.
Yeah, you're on a beach, not wearing a Speedo because you suck.
Yeah, well, you didn't buy me one. Get some merch.